Hello, welcome to the Little House Handmaids channel. My name is Charlotte, and this is your place to find how-to videos on different knitting stitches and steps, and also other various crafts. Welcome, hope you enjoy today's video. Today's video, we're going to talk about common knitting increases. So when you're knitting, sometimes you will see these abbreviations, and what you're doing is increasing your stitch count. The first one we're going to talk about is yarn over. This one is often used in lace work or just a design that you're wanting to increase and leave a little eyelet hole. So it's abbreviated YO. It stands for yarn over. Now there's a yarn over on the knit side and there's a yarn over on the purl side. They both do similar things. But I will show you both of them. So I have this little swatch here. I have knitted the first 2 stitches, so I want to do a yarn over. So I'm going to, without going into the next stitch, I'll take my yarn and I will wrap it around the needle counterclockwise. So I bring it to the front of the work and take it over the back, over top of the needle. Then go into my next stitch. That is increasing my stitch right there. Let me do that again. We'll knit a couple stitches and then we'll do a yarn over bring it around the front and yarn over and then knit the next stitch. Let's do one more. So I want to do a yarn over. I bring my yarn around to the front over the needle and then knit the next stitch. Now, I'm going to purl the next row quick so you can see the little eyelet that I'm talking about with this. Get my yarn all untangled here. I have used this yarn several times for doing swatches, and so it's starting to get a little bit fuzzy. So when I come back to that yarn over, I just purl it like I would do regularly. I use it just like another stitch. So let's see, here I come to there. You can see where my yarn over is, and I just go through the front leg and purl it like I would do normally. There. Now, when I turn this over, you can see that each time that I increased, it left a little eyelet hole. That's not a running hole. It won't run, the work won't run up because you added a stitch in there, but it left a hole. Now, sometimes you don't want to leave a hole, and then there's other increases that we do. But this is often used for lace work or for raglan sweaters that you want to leave a little eyelet detail along the raglan seam. Okay, I'm going to knit one more row across and then I will show you the purl stitch, how to do the yarn over on the purl side. Okay, so I'm on my purl side now. And so if I have a yarn over on a purl row, so say got a couple stitches here. Okay, so I want to do a yarn over. I already have the yarn to the front, so I just take it over and bring it around and to the front again. So I'm wrapping it around the needle a whole time and then continue purling the next stitches. Let's do that one more time. So if I want to do a yarn over increase from the purl, I purled this stitch, so I take my yarn over the needle and under it, so I'm wrapping it around the needle a whole time and then continue purling the rest of the stitches. And that adds the yarn over on the purl side. Now, I'm going to show you the next increase. It's called Make One. It's abbreviated M1. And then sometimes you see an M1L or an M1R. This means make one leaning left or make one leaning right. And that's basically two different ways how to do it. Sometimes a designer does not specify. These kind of increases are often used when you're doing color work yoke sweaters, or you want a nice increase that does not leave a hole. It's hard to, I mean, an experienced knitter can look at it and find where it is, but it doesn't instantly say, hey, I increased a stitch here. It's blended into the work quite nicely. So if I want to do a make one, what I'm going to do is between the two stitches, so if I had my knit stitches here and I haven't inserted my needle yet. I see the ladder that goes between the stitches. I'm going to pick it up and put it over my needle. Now, this one I believe is the make one left. I always have to look these up again. But when I put it over my left needle, now it doesn't automatically make a stitch, because if I come in here and I knit this way, it's going to make a hole just like this did. What we're wanting to do is twist this. So what we're going to do is knit it through the back loop. And then you can see that twists that ladder, and then you have your knit stitch for the row above it. And there you increased a stitch. Oops, that's an increase from the other side. But if you look at this, you can see it, you can find it, but it's not leaving a hole, not like these yarn overs left. So it's doing it much neater. Now I think that was the make one left. Let's make one the opposite way here. So that time we lifted it up over the yarn up over the needle like this. The other one, you lift it from the front over. Then you're not going to knit through the back, you're going to knit through the front and knit it like you normally would. And that is a make one right, where you can see that twisted that yarn that you picked up and makes your increase very hard to see. It's there, but it's hard to see. Let me go ahead and purl the next row across, and then we'll look at those stitches just a little bit closer so that you can see what I mean, that you can find them, but they're not as easily spotted in your work. So when you're doing like these yokes that you don't want an obvious place of increase, it just looks like all just knitting, you can still add the shaping by increasing your stitches that way. Almost to the end. Here I'm getting a lot more stitches on my needle with all these increases. Okay, now let's look at these two increases that we did. Now, when you look at that, right here is our increase. You can see the twisted stitch there that we picked up, the yarn that we picked up and twisted, and then the two rows that we knit on top. But it doesn't make an increase like this does, where it leaves a hole. And let's see, the one that we did over here, right here it is. It's twisted right there. So you can still see it, but it's not nearly as easily spotted. And it just makes a nice flat knitting for your stockinette stitch. Okay, the last one I'm going to talk about is a knit front and back. That's abbreviated KFB. Now, I have seen some increases, KFBF, you know, and done that several times, or it'll say 3 times or whatever. And that increases a lot more stitches, but we're not worried about that right now. We're just worried about increasing 1 stitch. So if we're going to knit front and back, there's a hair on my yarn. I want to show you how we're going to do that. Let's get a few more stitches in here. Okay, so if we come to where we're going to knit front and back, what that front and back is talking about is the front leg of the stitch and the back leg of the stitch, so the back side. So if we're going to knit, it means knit through the front, just like you would regular, but do not slide your stitch off. Bring your yarn around and go through the back leg and knit through the back leg, and that pulls it up, and that's making 2 stitches before you slide that stitch off. Let's do it again. So we knit through the front leg like we would regularly, do not slide it off, and then knit through the back and then slide it off. Let's get over here a little bit and we'll do another one. Knit through the front leg, keep your stitch on your left needle, and knit through the back leg, and then go on. I have used this one when increasing on a raglan. It does a nice increase too if I don't want eyelets, but it does make the second stitch when you knit through the back look like a little purl stitch, so sometimes you do see that. And so depending on what pattern, you're not going to necessarily want to do it this way on a yoke sweater where you have all stockinette stitch color work or something that you want to look smooth. But if it's along a seam, sometimes you want that little bit of a purl. It'll give it a little definition to stand out there. Let's purl one more row across so you can see better what I mean there by that little purl increase, or that second knit through the back loop on there looks like a little purl. I split my yarn there. Okay. Now, they're not as easy to spot as an actual purl stitch, but right here you can see where there I knit through the front and then I knit through the back, and it made this one little bar going across. So it still makes a nice increase. And there's another one. You can see where it looks like the purl bump on this side. It doesn't stand out quite as much as a plain purl stitch does, but it is noticeable there. And it looks nice along the increase line for a raglan sleeve. That is when I have used it the most. But those are a couple increases you can do and should learn and have in your stash of knitting tricks. Thanks for watching.